So on my last trip to Vancouver, the weather was really awful and I had almost no time. So I'm spending a day here and we're going to do this Vancouver Lookout, which is similar to the Toronto Needle that we visited on the other side. And we're just waiting for an elevator to come and pick us up. That looks like our queue. All right.
Go ahead, sir. Elevator 17, one for the lookout.
There we go. And we're rocking into outer space. This is a very scenic city in terms of its placement, with mountains all around it. Whoop. I think we've arrived.
Hi.
Hello.
Vancouver Lookout, please head to your left. So let you know you can also scan this QR code for self-audio tour. Otherwise, I'll send you the book.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
So you scan this and you get a tour. Hold on.
Welcome to Vancouver Lookout at the top of Harbor Center. I'll be your host for this 15-minute 360-degree tour, which will begin where you see red stickers on the windows to your left. Please take this time to find a viewpoint near a red sticker on the window. As you make your way there, here are a few facts about the building itself. Harbor Center was designed by the same architects who designed the CN Tower in Toronto and was officially opened in August 1977 by Neil Armstrong, the first person on the moon.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
It is 168 meters, or 553 feet, above sea level. At the time it opened, it was the tallest building in Vancouver. I'll be starting this tour with a bit about the history of our beautiful city. When you hear this sound, it's time to move to your left to the next color section. Feel free to pause this tour at any time to read the panels or take photos. The city you see around you is relatively young. However, Coast Salish indigenous peoples have lived here for 10,000 years. We are grateful to live, work, and play on the ancestral lands of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh peoples who had villages throughout the area we now know as Vancouver. Named after a British naval officer, Captain George Vancouver, this land became popular with treasure seekers heading to the gold rush of the 1850s. With a mild climate, natural harbor, and ample resources, it's easy to see why colonizers wanted to settle here. Vancouver was incorporated on April 6, 1886, and only 2 months later was completely destroyed by fire, prompting the new city to purchase its first fire engine. Today, Vancouver is the third largest city in Canada, and Metro Vancouver is home to more than 2.5 million people. As you stand in the red section, in front of you is one of the oldest churches in Vancouver, Holy Rosary Cathedral. Construction began in 1899 and was completed in less than a year and a half. The church bells are still rung by hand on Sunday mornings. To the left, and towards the water, is a large white dome with a spiked crown of 36 masts. It is the world's largest cable-supported roof that can be opened and closed. This is BC Place, which was the stage for the opening and closing ceremonies of the 2010 Olympic and Paralympic Winter Games. It is also home to the BC Sports Hall of Fame and to both our CFL football team and our MLS soccer team. To the left of BC Place is a smaller gray stadium. This is Rogers Arena, home to the Vancouver Canucks hockey team. Behind BC Place is the Cambie Street Bridge, and if you follow Cambie Street south and away from downtown, you'll see a hill on the horizon with a glass dome on top. The hill is an extinct volcano and the tallest point in the city of Vancouver. It's in Queen Elizabeth Park, which is home to a public garden and to the Bloedel Conservatory, known for its tropical plants and birds. The patch of water you glimpse between the tall buildings to the left of BC Place is known today as False Creek. Originally, explorers thought they had found another way to the Fraser River, but this was not the case. Please continue around the deck to where there are yellow stickers. Let's have a look at some of the interesting buildings below us. Just to the left of Rogers Arena is a tower that looks like a baby bottle. The Sun Tower was built in 1912 and was the tallest building in the British Empire at the time. The dome will eventually turn green as the newly installed copper roof oxidizes. To the left of the Sun Tower is the orange-roofed Dominion Building. It was Vancouver's first steel-framed high-rise and has been featured in many films and TV series. Behind these buildings is Chinatown, one of the many neighborhoods reflecting the cultural diversity of Vancouver. Chinese settlers came as gold seekers and then as contract laborers to build the Canadian Pacific Railway that linked eastern Canada to the west coast. Have a look for the red neon W. Just behind it is a green angled roof. This is the entrance to the Dr. Sun Yat-sen Classical Chinese Gardens. This garden is the only authentic Chinese garden outside of mainland China and was officially opened in 1986. The street that parallels the train tracks is Water Street, which leads through the oldest part of Vancouver. Many of the buildings in this area, known as Gastown, date back to approximately 1886, built after the Great Fire. Gastown is named after Gassy Jack Dayton, a retired riverboat captain who came to Vancouver and, in less than 24 hours, managed to build a saloon by offering any man who helped a free shot of whiskey. The saloon stood across from the Hotel Europe, the wedge-shaped building at the far end of Gastown. As you walk along Water Street, be sure to visit the famous Steam Clock. It's one of Vancouver's most popular landmarks. The snow-capped mountain on the horizon to the south is Mount Baker in Washington state. It is an active volcano and part of the Pacific Ring of Fire. Looking to the left is a series of hills known as Burnaby Mountain. This is the location of Simon Fraser University, or SFU, which opened its doors in 1965. Towards the eastern end of the harbor, to the left of Burnaby Mountain, is the Ironworkers Memorial Bridge, one of 3 bridges that cross over Burrard Inlet to the North Shore. It is named for the workers who lost their lives during construction. Please continue to the left where the blue stickers are. You are now looking over Burrard Inlet to the North Shore Mountains. The mountains are a big part of Vancouver's landscape. There are 3 ski areas in these local mountains. From left to right, they are Cypress Mountain, Grouse Mountain, and Seymour Mountain. They all have world-class ski runs and winter activities, as well as trails for biking and hiking in the warmer months. Grouse Mountain's Skyride Gondola takes visitors to 1,100 meters or 3,600 feet above sea level in 8 minutes, where they have a fantastic view of the city and Burrard Inlet. Burrard Inlet is a 37-kilometer or 23-mile-long coastal fjord that separates Vancouver from the North Shore. The cranes to your right are part of the Port of Vancouver, which is the largest port in Canada and the 4th largest in North America. On this side of the inlet, you can see the white sails of Canada Place, which was the Canada Pavilion during Expo 86. It is now home to Vancouver's Trade and Convention Centre, the Pan Pacific Hotel, Vancouver's World Trade Centre, and Flyover Canada. It is also our cruise ship terminal and welcomes thousands of people each year, primarily on their way to Alaska. Vancouver Harbor is a busy place. To the right of Canada Place, you can see the Seabus terminal where passenger ferries connect downtown to the North Shore as part of the local transit system. And a little further to the right, you will see a helicopter terminal. The Vancouver Harbor Water Airport is one of the busiest water aerodromes in the world. The seaplanes and helicopters are controlled by the world's tallest air traffic control tower that is almost at eye level with where you are now. You should now be in front of the white stickers. The water you glimpse between where you are standing and Stanley Park is Coal Harbor. No coal is mined here now. In fact, the shoreline has transformed from an industrial area to an upscale and thriving residential community. There is even a floating gas station in the middle of the harbor where boat owners can fuel up. Stanley Park is one of Vancouver's most popular destinations for both visitors and locals. At 1,000 acres, it is larger than New York's Central Park. It has 2 freshwater lakes and is home to such creatures as swans, raccoons, beavers, and coyotes. It is also where you can find the Vancouver Aquarium. The stone seawall surrounding Stanley Park is part of the world's longest uninterrupted waterfront path, and at 28 kilometers or 17 miles is popular with cyclists, runners, and walkers. Lions Gate Bridge connects Stanley Park and the city of Vancouver to the North Shore. The bridge gets its name from a pair of prominent mountain peaks called the Lions, also known as Twin Sisters by local Indigenous peoples. The bridge was opened in November 1938. It's about the same length as the Brooklyn Bridge in New York and about half the length of a very similar-looking Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. This green section is the last in our tour. Now bring your gaze back toward downtown and notice the brown building with what looks like icing on the top. This is the Marine Building, one of the best examples of Art Deco architecture in the world. When it opened in 1930, it was the tallest building in the British Commonwealth, a title it held for nearly a decade. BC's economy is heavily reliant on natural resources such as forestry, mining, and fishing, and many of these companies' head offices are located here in the downtown core. Tourism is also vital, so you will see many hotels here, including the tallest building in the city, which is a combination of a 5-star hotel and private apartments. The Living Shangri-La, which opened in 2009. The second highest building on the right is the Paradox Hotel. Moving back in time, and to your left, look for a neon clock face at the top of a white building. This is the Vancouver Block, completed in 1912. The clock face is credited with kicking off a neon boom when it was added in 1927, which resulted in mid-century Vancouver having even more neon signs than Las Vegas. Looking beyond the city, across the body of water known as English Bay, you can see a peninsula of land where the University of British Columbia, or UBC, is located. Consistently ranked as one of the best universities in Canada and the world, it is the largest university in Western Canada. Off in the distance, beyond UBC, you may be able to see the mountain range on Vancouver Island, about 50 kilometers or 30 miles to the west, where you will find the capital of British Columbia, Victoria, on its southern tip. This brings us to the end of our audio tour. Thank you for joining us here at Vancouver Lookout. Feel free to walk around again and read the information panels for more details. Enjoy the rest of your visit to Vancouver.
So tomorrow we will be getting on Via Rail, which will take us across Canada, and it will be leaving out of Pacific Central Station, which is down that ways. But just look at this. Look at these mountains, just covered with snow. This is a rare thing to see anymore. Gorgeous city. And scenic as can be.
That is a very nice.
Yeah.
you guys on live our car, going to the restaurant. We're on the
We just ask that you stay where this line is. Okay, friend.
Wow, this is actually a revolving restaurant here. So this is similar to the LaRonde in Hawaii and Honolulu, which has now been decommissioned in an office building. And I assume it also moves around at approximately the same rate of one revolution per hour. Oh, that is totally amazing.